So guys, we've just had the Amir Khan and Sammy Vargas fight. What a cracking fight. A very, very, very good watch. You know, when do we ever see an Amir Khan fight that's not a good watch? That's not interesting. It was a cracking fight, you know. Khan came out very fast as he normally does, bamboozling Vargas with his speed. Then in the second round, putting Vargas on the seat of his pants. And then towards the end of the round, Khan getting put down himself with a heavy knockdown, a heavy knockdown. And then Khan, you know, started boxing again. Was a bit more cautious. And then he got wobbled again later in the fight. I think it was 8th or 9th round. And Khan managed to get through in the end. But what I want to say is, because a lot of people, I've seen the social media reaction, oh, Khan's finished, Khan's old, this, that, Khan is not the fighter what he once was. Listen, I don't think Khan is the fighter he once was. I don't think so. But let's not forget, this is what we saw today was nothing different that we haven't seen in Amir Khan's career. He's got put down against Sammy Vargas. He's got put down against Julio Diaz. He's got put down against Danny Garcia. He's been wobbled against Madonna. He got put down early in his career. The one thing is about Amir Khan is that, yeah, he can be put down, but it's very hard to keep him down. Only the elite guys have been able to keep him down or knock him out. And that's the thing. That's what people don't realize. What we saw with Amir Khan today was nothing out of the norm. This is what happens with Amir Khan. But I think people give him a lot of stick just because he goes down. And they don't look... And I think Amir Khan's been labelled as a guy that's chinny, and people give him a lot more stick when he goes down because of the fact that he's got that chinny tag. But let's not forget who won the fight. That's the main thing. It doesn't matter. You could be put down 3 times, and if you win the fight, that's all that matters. Amir Khan has proven that he can go down and win a fight. That takes a lot of heart and courage. Not many people can do that. And listen, Amir Khan is probably the most exciting fighter, and that most people would have to agree, and people can say, oh, I'm a Khan fan or whatever, but Amir Khan is probably the most exciting fighter in world boxing because of his vulnerabilities. We know that he's vulnerable. We know that he can be hit and hurt. We know that. But we also know he can outbox guys. And listen, do I think if he was to fight the top level guys he can win? Probably not. Right now, probably not. I don't think it's the same Khan. I think younger Khan, could have probably beat those guys. And he does have a slim chance against them. I would give him a slim chance against all of the top guys. It'd be a slim one, but the thing is, I don't like to look at Amir Khan's fights and think, you know what, he's performed poorly here, so he will perform poorly against Spence, or he will perform poorly against Crawford, or he will perform poorly against Garcia, because Khan's not like that. Khan's fought many times. The first Julio Diaz, when he actually was with Virgil Hunter, he got put down. And then he came back and fought Devon Alexander and schooled him. You know, and Alexander was a much higher level opponent than Diaz. So you can't really judge Amir Khan like that, because Amir Khan's always been like that throughout his career. So stop judging him like that. Because Amir Khan's the type of guy where he'll look so vulnerable in one fight, but then he'll come the next fight and absolutely school the guy, and you'll be like, this is a different Amir Khan. But what I want to say is, I don't like the way Joe Goosen is getting him to fight. Because one thing I've noticed with Amir Khan, he's fighting too recklessly. In these 2 fights that I've seen, he's fought too recklessly. Yes, he got Greco out of there in 40 seconds. But against Sammy Vargas, for me, he was too reckless. He came out gung-ho. He's fighting this gung-ho strategy, which isn't going to work for him against the elite level guys. I'm sorry. And I'm a Khan fan. But if he fights the way he did against Sammy Vargas and LaGreco, against Kell Brook, against Errol Spence, against Terence Crawford, against any of those top, Danny Garcia, any of those guys, it's going to be a short night, because they will knock him out. The only chance he has, and even if he boxes smart, they could catch him because they're good fighters. He'll give himself the best chance of winning. The problem is, I don't know, because Joe Goosen is known for he's an offensive trainer. That is not a good idea for someone like Amir Khan. Amir Khan cannot be too aggressive and too offensive, because that's only going to end up in one way. We've seen him when he's been too aggressive and too offensive before. It's ended up in disaster, and it will happen again. You cannot fight Errol Spence fighting the way he did against Sammy Vargas. You just can't. Amir Khan is very naturally gifted. He has fast hands. He needs to use them to his advantage. He can't give the other guy a great chance of winning, because now you're putting yourself at danger of getting knocked out. You know your chin is vulnerable. You know you can go down, but you also know that you have fast hands and you can outbox guys. You need to use your box. You need to use your boxing ability to your advantage. You cannot give other people chances and have a trade with them and give them a chances to land big shots on your chin. You just cannot do that. And this style that Joe Goosen has got him adopting is really, really bad, and that's just a recipe for disaster. That's just asking Amir Khan. You're asking him to do something that eventually is going to end up in a disaster. Because if you tell Amir Khan to go and sit down on his punches, to throw more combinations, to sit and have a trade, yes, you might be able to get through against someone like Sammy Vargas, but against Garcia, against Spence, against Crawford, it's not going to work. You're going to end up on your back. You're going to end up on your back. And I don't want to see Amir Khan get knocked out. It can happen. It can happen. He could fight Kell Brook and get knocked out. But I don't want to see Amir Khan getting knocked out fighting a style that he shouldn't be fighting. He shouldn't be going in the ring and being gung-ho. And unfortunately for me, I think this trainer, Goosen, is an offensive, and he's very offensive. He's not just like a Freddie Roach. Freddie Roach was very calculated. I think he's very, very offensive. You need to have the right fighters to be able to fight that style. Amir Khan can't fight that style. He's very vulnerable. He hasn't got a granite chin. He goes down. And as he's getting older, it's going to get harder for him. You know, so, and as he goes up the levels, it's going to get even harder. So Amir Khan needs to sort that out. Maybe Goosen needs to change his tactics. He cannot fight the way he fought with the fighters he's had with Amir Khan. He's a different fighter. He needs to be more cautious. Amir Khan needs to box. Listen, Amir Khan needs to go in the ring and box against Spence, and box against Garcia, and box against Pacquiao, box against Brook. He cannot go in there in those fights looking to have a trade-off with those guys, because it's only going to end up in one way, and that's Amir Khan on his backside. I'm just being honest, and I'm a Khan fan. He cannot go in there and trade with those guys. He cannot. He has to fight the way Virgil Hunter was teaching him to fight, because that was the perfect style for Amir Khan. That was the way Amir Khan can win against these top level guys. Let's not forget, against Canelo, he fought perfectly. Canelo is obviously a very gifted fighter. So Canelo was able to land that big punch. You know? So I didn't look at that Canelo fight and give Virgil Hunter any stick, because I know how good Canelo is. But if Khan had gone in there with Canelo and started trading in the center of the ring, started having a toe-to-toe with Canelo, then I would have criticized Hunter, because then I would have been like, what the hell are you telling him? But this Goosen seems to me, he wants Khan to throw more punches, wants to be more aggressive. And that's not the right style for Khan. That's only going to end up in disaster against the world level guys. Does Khan want to continue fighting these kind of guys and beating them? Yeah, he might be able to get through. He needs to, if he wants to fight at world level or compete and beat those guys at world level, he needs to be more cute in the way he fights. He needs to be more tactical, because if he fights the way he did against Vargas, he's going to get knocked out. It's as simple as that. There's no way he goes 12 rounds fighting the way he did against Vargas. He's sitting there on his punches looking to knock this guy out. I don't know why he needs to do that. And it's so, because I'm a Khan fan, when I'm watching him, it's like so frustrating as well, because I honestly thought Vargas could knock him out. I thought this is it. Khan's going to get knocked out and he's going to retire. He managed to get through the fight, and it was, listen, I've always said, that putting Khan down is not that hard, but keeping him down is very hard. Vargas wasn't able to keep him down. But if it was Garcia, if it was the top level guys, would they have kept him down? If fighting that way, yes, they would have kept him down. But if he needs to be more smart. The only problem is I don't know whether the trainer he's got is the right trainer for him. And I don't think he's going to change now. And unfortunately, I think if he fights that kind of style, fights that way against Kell Brook or Manny Pacquiao or any of those guys, I just think it ends in defeat for him. I'm sorry, I just think it ends in defeat for him. And I like Amir Khan, but he needs to change that. He needs to change that style of fighting because he was too aggressive. He was too gung-ho. He was too gung-ho. He cannot fight like that at world level. He needs to box and box smart. The way he did against Devin Alexander. The way he did against Luis Collazo. He needs to fight like that. Even the way he did against Andres Kotelnik. He needs to fight that way. That's the best Amir Khan we're going to see. And even then he could get beat. Because those guys can punch and crack and they can hurt him. But he's giving himself the best chance of winning a fight if he fights in a cautious way. He needs to... Listen, he's naturally gifted. We know that. And if he fights a smart fight with his gifts, he can beat those guys. He can beat all of those world level guys because there's no one in the world that can match Amir Khan's speed. But he needs to use it cleverly, effective. He needs to be effective. Not just go in there and when he sees a bit of success, goes in there and go mad with his combinations. Because then he's giving the other guy a chance to land a big shot. And if the other guy lands a big shot, we know what can happen with Amir Khan. So why is he giving the other guys a chance? He doesn't need to do that. When you're fighting top level fighters, they're going to find a way or set you up to land a big shot. Anyway, you don't want to go in the middle of the ring and start trading when you are vulnerable. And there's no hiding that Amir Khan is vulnerable. Why does he want to go in the ring and put himself at risk of getting knocked out? He doesn't need to do that. He doesn't need to do that. And Carl Froch, for me, summed it up. I'm not a big Carl Froch fan in terms of what he says about Amir Khan. Because you can see that he still seems to have a grudge against Khan. Like he puts Khan down. But I will say what he said about Khan was bang on about, you want to see Khan step it on in the later rounds, and he couldn't do that. He's no world beater at 147. You'd probably have to say he's probably not a world beater at 147. And with Khan, I just listen. I don't want to be too critical as well, too harsh. And Froch said this as well because it is what it is. The guy, he got the win, and that's the most important thing. But I just don't like the style that he's adopted. I think that's very dangerous. I think he's gonna get himself in trouble because I think he's fighting too gung ho. And when Khan fights like that, he gets himself in trouble. He cannot fight like that against world level. And I think after this performance, a lot of people are not going to give him much chance against the top level guys anyway, because that's how people are. They see that and they see that there's no way if he's getting knocked down against Vargas, he's going to get knocked down against Pacquiao, Brook and all the top guys. But I wouldn't write Khan off in those fights. I wouldn't write Khan off. I think Khan can definitely surprise us. I think Khan will rise to the challenge. But we do know that he's vulnerable and he can be hurt. But the most important thing is that he's beaten Sammy Vargas. He's got the victory, and he's onto a super fight now. Whether he can win that super fight, only time will tell. I hope he can. Obviously, being a Khan fan, I hope he can, go and get that victory, get that Pacquiao fight. It'll be for the world title. If not Pacquiao, Brook. But let's see what happens. But it was a cracking fight, cracking night. I want to know your guys' opinion. What did you make of Khan's performance? Do you think Khan can win a world title? Where do you think Khan should go? Do you think Khan should fight Pacquiao? Do you think he should fight Brook? Leave your thoughts, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.